Je sais pas. Je sais pas.
Vous êtes bloqué juste pour les camions.
Viens, on descend en boire. Hein.
C'est chaud là-haut.
On évacue.
Il y a le feu dans le village, dépêchez-vous. Il y a le monsieur, il y a le policier avec moi, vous remontez.
Ah là c'est l'apocalypse, moi j'habite juste à côté là et on ne peut pas aller à la maison, c'est encerclé par les feux. Donc voilà, on va essayer de leur donner un coup de main. La difficulté de ce feu, c'est c'est un feu qui concerne des zones habitées. Donc c'est une guérilla urbaine que l'on mène actuellement, compte tenu du vent fort qu'il y a sur le secteur, qui attise tout petit foyer qui n'a pas été éteint. Et à chaque fois qu'on croit qu'on a avancé, en fait, on repart de plus belle sur d'autres secteurs où il y a énormément de sautes de feu.
New wildfires have been breaking out in southern France, posing threats to residents and holidaymakers and burning forest and scrubland. 10,000 people, including 3,000 campers, were evacuated overnight as a fire swept across a stretch of the Riviera. The past week has also seen thousands of hectares destroyed in Corsica, as well as other parts of southern Europe. More than 500 firefighters were called in as flames, whipped up by strong winds, threatened residential areas on a peninsula west of Saint-Tropez. The authorities moved people out of their homes and campsites, forcing them to take refuge on beaches where they spent the night. There was better news further along the coast, as emergency teams said another fire was no longer advancing. France has asked for help from neighbouring EU countries and ordered several water-dropping planes. In 2 days, more than 5,000 hectares have been destroyed and some 20 firefighters have been injured. Despite the occasionally terrifying skyline, no deaths have been reported, unlike in other parts of Europe this summer.
The pilots and crew of the Canadair planes fly almost continuously in daylight hours, swooping low through smoke and heat and flames to dump tank after tank of water onto the burning hillsides along the French Riviera. 2 years of drought have created tinder-dry forests, and summer temperatures in the high 30s with winds of more than 80 kilometers an hour have all combined to create the conditions for an inferno. This particular fire started in the northwest of where I'm standing, on the other side of the highway that I can see here. It's burnt out some kind of farmhouse on that side of the road and then leapt the carriageways and come sweeping along this hillside, turning the whole area into ash and turning these trees into just blackened skeletons. And you can see, fanned by winds of up to 50 miles an hour at times, it's still burning on that hillside over there. More than 12,000 people have now been evacuated out of the path of the flames, their holidays abruptly ended by the wildfires. 1,500 people spent the night sleeping on gymnastics mats at this leisure centre in Baume-les-Mimosas. This French family had only just arrived for the start of their summer break when they were ordered to flee.
We arrived yesterday during the day at 3 p.m. We unpacked our gear and at 11 p.m. someone woke us up and told us to evacuate.
On the hillside above Baume-les-Mimosas, Nicole Bossac's house has panoramic views of the valley, and it's a deeply alarming sight. For the moment, the wind is driving the flames away from her home, but that could change.
I'm 74 years old, so it's really stressful. I already experienced a fire like this in 1990, but I no longer have my husband around to support me. So yes, we are scared for the few things that we've got left. The house, the memories. It's all very frightening.
The fire crews are being assisted by soldiers, police and forestry rangers. More than 4,000 emergency workers with the reinforcements drafted in from other regions of France. But the flames have a tendency to quiet down and then suddenly rear up again. It's proving to be a real struggle.
At the moment, the fire is worsening with a ferocious development on the left flank. There's a very strong wind on the left flank, especially on the hill's crests, and that's driving the fire towards the town of Bormes.
The weather is going to be a critical factor. Later on Thursday, the wind is forecast to drop from 80 kilometres an hour to around 30 kilometres an hour. That could be just the breakthrough the fire crews need to bring the blazes under control. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera, Bormes-les-Mimosas.
More than 2,000 firefighters are battling to stop a new wave of forest fires in the centre of Portugal. Locals are doing their bit to help emergency services combat the flames. Fire crews are also battling another blaze that started on Sunday afternoon near Coimbra. Police said that fire was caused by dry lightning strikes and spread quickly due to an unusually dangerous mix of low humidity, extremely high temperatures and powerful winds. Last month, 64 people were killed as they tried to flee in cars or were engulfed in flames in a hilly region northeast of Lisbon. More than 150 others were injured.
O país vai para o lugar abaixo na tarde. Na tarde. Todos os anos desta merda. Todos os anos arde, todos os anos arde, todos os anos arde.
Eu não consigo falar com ninguém desde ontem. Nem com os meus avós, nem com a minha mãe. Não consigo falar com ninguém. Não há telefones, não há luz, não há nada. Não conseguimos falar com ninguém. Eu queria ver se conseguia passar para lá para ir saber alguma coisa. A ver se está tudo bem, pelo menos a casa e a minha família. Mas não sei. Agora é esperar para ver.
guardate quello che sta succedendo. Sembra neve, mai visto una cosa simile in 63 anni. Non riesco di più ad aprire la finestra, ragazzi. Mi auguro che nessuno si sia fatto male. Mai visto una bufera di queste dimensioni, mai vista. Sembra neve, è incredibile. Che Dio ci aiuti, mamma mia. È pazzesco, mai visto una cosa simile a San Benedetto.
Fotografie. Die Schwimmhäute sind eh schon da. Aber das ist
我一年出头就危险了。200块钱。阿妹，你把充1块钱。不要把充不上的，充不上的，充不上的再睡。阿妹，快谢谢。阿妹。充不上的再睡。阿妹，快谢谢。阿妹。看，套出皮子来，看看，哎！
我这就是周县城山街上全部洪水泛滥，
我们了解到呢，就是这3个安置点里头有一个就是其实。
这个路口啊，这个理解。
Aduh. Daneramapur, full varsad. Buriyo adi, market yard mati buriyo adi, bhai. Sandesh Vij babu.
वीडियो जो हम फोटा ना पड़ो ना हुए व्हाट्सएप करता करता मुश्किल नीचे पत्थर पाड़े
Ayo mama, abang lu. Yang membuatnya dia apa sih?
Ini panik tu kan? Apa dulu panik jadi tu? Sigor.
Flooding from monsoon rain in western India has swept away much that was in its path, leaving a rising death toll, streets swamped and vehicles submerged. Gujarat state is among the areas worst hit, the deluge stranding many and turning religious temples into new water-soaked attractions. The monsoon has also hit eastern areas of the country, where residents say floodwaters are yet to recede.
I don't know what has happened. Normally the water goes away, but this time the water is not going anywhere.
From the sky, the extent of the flooding is easier to gauge. Whole expanses of land are consumed. Tens of thousands are homeless and in need of aid. Indian Air Force personnel spot a man clinging to an electric pole. A rope is lowered with a safety harness attached, and he is eventually pulled to safety. Hundreds of people have been rescued by the Air Force this week. Also in the air, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, assessing damage and the loss of life. He has promised around $77 million in financial aid for those affected. The local chief minister acknowledging they're under pressure.
We are all working, but North Gujarat is experiencing heavy rainfall. We are not ignoring the flood situation. Everyone, from district level to village level, is working to help deal with the situation.
Monsoon season generally lasts from June to September, bringing rain that is critical to India's farming output. But this year it is testing the country's resilience All these places will need food and drinking water. And forecasters warn that rather than easing, more rain is likely to fall. Duncan Crawford, Al Jazeera.
I want to say something to our viewers that before we come, I just want to pay these images because really primetime television should have been dominated in some ways by these images. One of my home states, I have several, Gujarat is in the grip of the worst flood to hit the state in several years. 87 lives have already been claimed by the flood. Just take a look at some of these pictures. Several thousand people have been displaced, their homes and schools, vehicles completely inundated. My thoughts and prayers are today with the people of Gujarat, because while our politicians play their opportunistic politics all in the name of power, secularism, corruption, do they really think about the people of their home states and the people who are suffering on the ground?
More than 20 million people are under a severe weather alert this morning throughout the Northeast. Flash flood warnings were issued in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. This massive system already hammered the Midwest. It toppled trees, overturned cars, and caused widespread flooding. DeMarco Morgan is in Moline, Illinois, where the water is rising. DeMarco, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. As you can see behind me, the Rock River right here is already 2 feet above its flood stage, and it's expected to rise even further. And although the rain may have stopped, officials say their work has just begun. Under clear skies, residents survey the devastation caused by the latest round of severe weather. In Kentucky, homes are found ripped from their foundations. Vehicles swept away in the storm are pulled from water. Rain may have stopped, but in many places, flooding remains a real threat. In Algonquin, Illinois, homeowners race to hold back the rise in water.
It's got to get done.
Not even thinking about it.
Nope. No.
Further west, aerial footage shows the town of Galena completely submerged after the Galena River overflowed. In Wisconsin, where a state of emergency has been declared, the town of Darlington sits empty. All roads leading into town have been closed.
When you get the river going up, I mean, all you can really do is watch it go up. There's not a whole lot you can do to stop it.
And just to put things into perspective, the ground where we are standing was dry about 4 hours ago. The river is expected to crest sometime tomorrow. Charlie?
Thanks, DeMarco.
This might be the boat that got me in so much trouble. That's a hard thing. And I got to do.
So
they can accept it.
Okay.
fuck. Oh shit.
My husband came running down. He was like, "You've got to get people out of here now."
Streets turning into rivers.
There goes the storage building floating by.
Parking lots becoming lakes.
Here comes another SUV floating my way.
People scrambling to safety. Homes and property damaged.
Everything was destroyed, gone.
Cars swept away.
My car is actually on the other side of the picnic table, not even in the parking lot anymore.
As the water receded, a closer look at what's left behind.
And that's just what the staff at Vestavia Bowl is doing right now, tonight. They are cleaning up what the flood left behind.
It was one of the hardest hit areas on Highway 31 near Pizitz Road. Management rushed everyone out of the building when the floodwaters began to rise. WVTM 13 was the first crew there as people were rescued, bringing it to you live.
And Brittany Decker was there as well as people learned just what they had lost. Brittany, tonight, a lot of the water has receded. That's good news.
It has, but as you can see now, a lot of mud and debris here in the parking lot. And for everyone working inside, they plan to be here all night.
It was a long day for Vestavia Bowl's general manager, Angela Nance. She was one rescued by boat.
It took us a little time to get all the flood doors up, so that made us get stranded over here.
And it will be an even longer night.
You know, and I mean, I can see the water coming out from underneath the machines as I do this. So, I mean, this will definitely, I think, be an all-night procedure for us.
The plan to push the water out of the back room behind the lanes.
This would have been a huge expense had water gotten in the machines.
And in the room where they host birthday parties. But Nance is thankful there's minimal damage inside, considering all the water that covered the parking lot, pushing patio chairs to another location, and even submerging her car.
We might have lost a car or two, but at least we didn't lose the bowling center for 2 months.
For saving her business, she credits flood doors.
So they get secured all the way in, and then we tighten them down all the way.
Nance says she's done all she can to protect her business. Now she expects the city to step in before the next perfect storm of events.
Not only are we in a ditch, you know, we have the water trying to drain, other water's coming up, we have the creek behind us. I mean, it's just, there's so much that they need to get a drainage system that works better or clean the drains out. We have a big mess here tonight. The general manager says they plan to work throughout the evening for most of the day tomorrow with hopes that they could open up again tomorrow evening. Live in Vestavia Hills, Brittany Decker, WVTM 13.